Hi, it's Angela Williams Hunt. I'm talking today about internet infidelity and what happens with couples when there is internet infidelity. So, the first thing is that internet infidelity is more prevalent in this day and age because there's more accessibility to internet infidelity, to the internet and different aspects of the internet. So that's why it's more prevalent. I like to use the article by Hert, Hertzstein and Stevenson, the seven As, and that helps to give an insight as to why internet infidelity is so prevalent. The first thing they talk about is anonymity, and people can be anonymous on when they're on dating sites or when they are speaking to another person, and that anonymity can help them to use the internet for cheating. So, like if you're cheating with someone who is in your local community, then and you're out with that person, you're more likely to be caught. But if you're talking to a person on the internet, um, your partner is less likely to find out. And so that's why anonymity is one of the areas that they talk about in the article as being a way of infidelity being more easy. The other thing is accessibility. I mean, we're all walking around with our smartphones. We use laptops. We use iPads. Um, Most people are checking their emails several times a day. If they're not checking their emails, they're on some type of device for looking at maybe a dating app or something like that. And so, because it's so accessible, people are using the internet for cheating. Whereas if you're with someone in person, you might have to like schedule times to be with that person when your partner is not there, or you might have to schedule places that you don't that your partner may not be at. Some people even go to other countries or other states in order to be able to have an affair. The other thing is affordability, and being on the internet, you already have access to your smartphone or your tablet or your iPad, and so it's not going to cost you anything additional, and you won't have to take someone out on a date. Like if you're going out to a restaurant or something like that, it could be expensive, but also some back in the days people used to meet at hotels, and those things were expensive. And then they talk about approximation, and that it brings the internet brings people closer to you. So this person can be in another country and you could be having an affair with this person, whereas if it was in person, you might have to fly to this person or take a bus or a train to this person. With the internet, you can just have access. um, there's also acceptability related to internet infidelity, and acceptability in terms of like using, like talking about sex and sexuality. It's more acceptable on the internet for people to be talking about different things related to sex, whereas in person that might be perceived as an insult or going too far. On the internet, or if someone is sexting or texting, it's a little more acceptable and the other person would not be offended. There's also ambiguity, so that each individual has their own view about internet infidelity, and especially when you're getting into a relationship, you might not discuss that. And so, one partner might think speaking on the internet with another person is not cheating or infidelity, and the other partner might think it is infidelity. But if the two have not discussed it, then it's ambiguous. And when it is discovered, the other partner can say, "Well, you never said that that was cheating, and I don't think that that's cheating." And in my experience, often people who are have cheated or are unfaithful or committed infidelity related to the internet, many of them are saying that I've not cheated, that I've not, this is not being unfaithful. It's just me talking to the person. And the other partner is offended by that statement and very upset by the person kind of minimizing this infidelity. The other thing is accommodation. Um, and you get to be a different person online than you are sort of in person. So you could pretend to be someone else online. Like maybe if you're short, you can pretend to be tall, or if you're tall, you could pretend to be short. Or if you have a different type of personality in person, you can pretend to have another type of personality when you're on the internet. And people are likely to take more risks on the internet than they are in person because you could hide behind the internet, you could hide behind texting, and you don't have to worry about, being rejected or the person's response because it's easier to kind of do it that way than it is to meet with the person and and kind of face what they are saying to you. And so, how do we deal with internet infidelity? As a therapist, I meet with the couple, and the first thing is owning what has happened in the relationship to cause the infidelity on both parts. But also, one of the main things is for the person who has committed the act of infidelity to accept it, to acknowledge to their partner that uh, um, it was infidelity and that it has caused a fracture in the relationship, and kind of figure out how to build that relationship back. Is number one is like trying to build a trusting relationship. And I always offer, that each partner should have access to passwords and phones and laptops so that there is no secrecy related to anything that's going on. And especially, I offer that not just for couples who have experienced infidelity in general. There should be this openness related to people having access to each other's information. And what's so important is when you experience the infidelity to seek out help from a marriage and family therapist so that they can help you to kind of work through the infidelity, to be able to talk about it in a different way. There needs to be space in order to discuss the anger on both parts. Many times people commit infidelities because they're missing something in their relationship, and while that doesn't give that person a pass or an excuse to do that, a lot of times when you come to therapy, this is an opportunity for you to discuss your anger or your disappointment or your sadness related to your relationship. And a marriage and family therapist can help you through that. And so, what I would say to any couple who is experiencing infidelity is, number one, to kind of own what's going on in your relationship. Number two is to really seek help from someone who can help you. And number three, give yourself some time and patience because it doesn't change overnight. And you need the time and space and to be able to work on it and to improve your relationship. And so that's about it. Thank you for tuning in.